we're gonna do some work from standing up from the ground. You shouldn't be on the ground when you're doing self-defense or when you're fighting out on the streets, but now that we're on the ground, let's continue with the ground grappling. So first step, obviously, is know your back break falls, and then know how to stand up. So our first drill is gonna be that we put our partner under a little bit of pressure. Now, what he has to do is I'm gonna start moving toward him. He has to maintain distance while he comes up on his hand, then to his shoulder, then to his knee, and comes up without me being able to touch him, moving at that pace. So he hits the deck, I maintain distance and space, and he has to stand up. I'm maintaining my pace and moving toward him. Now, obviously, to make this more and more challenging, I can move faster and faster. So now if we want our students to be able to move toward us for reasons of maybe control of the weapon, or I'm trying to go and hurt somebody else and they want to stop me. So maybe they're on the ground here. Now when I stand up, I'm backing up and he has to try to move forward and touch me. So these are kind of some basic progressions and iterations of drills that you can do with a partner at home. So whenever you're standing up though, you want to make sure you have 3 points of contact on the ground. Notice this mistake. So let's say that Nick comes up and he moves his head toward me, boom, that's a bad day for Nick. Make sure that when he's standing up that he's moving backwards at the same time so he's not closing distance, he's actually extending. So that's a drill. You can go faster and faster with that. Now, obviously, the faster you go, the harder this gets. Eventually, he'll have to make a choice. So if I go super fast at him and he starts standing and there's not enough room, he'll have to make that choice just to go back down to the ground and then continue from there. So we've covered kind of linear motion going forward and backwards. Now we're gonna do circular motion. So Nick is on his back here like this, and I'll just start moving around him in a circular fashion here like this. On the instructor's cue, someone says go, and I back up, and then he moves toward me, and then I'm moving here, right? So for this one, the goal is to get back and extend distance and space. Very good. And then you can switch back and forth as every person stands, whatever. Now we can make this a more free-flowing drill. So instead of the instructor saying go, the student does it whenever they feel like it. So I circle, moving here, circling again. Now he recognizes that there's been distance and then he stands up. Now my job, so I go out and back down for me. When I move away, I take 1, 2 steps and then I come back at him with 1, 2 steps. And he has to make sure that he's up before I come back at him. So what this is doing is it's cueing his brain to recognize when that distance is opened up and then to take advantage of it and not to be stuck on the ground. So now we can change the objective of the drill. Instead of him creating distance, now he has to come and get me. So when he goes down to the ground, now I back up 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and he has to come in and make contact with me in some way before the count of 5. Now obviously the lower count you get, the more challenging this becomes, making him get up off the ground quicker. Now we haven't even added any pressure or contact to this, right? Because there could be pressure. So now Nick is on the ground. Now we're gonna add in kicks to this problem, right? So I'm circling, and now Nick can start throwing kicks toward my legs here like this and trying to push me off. If he manages to create enough space, pops right back up. And you can do this with pads as well, and for a more realistic like contact, or you can just add this in, just like I did, as just marking shots toward the legs. So one more time. Now, as he's moving on the ground, some really important tips. Make sure that your knees are wide so that I can't tilt you once we do get into contact, because I don't want to be able to pull you over, step past you, and then be able to land damaging shots toward the head. So I want to make sure that I'm able to keep my legs in between. And then if I step toward his side, notice that he has the ability to frame his legs against mine really easily and then push me away and get his legs back in between me. Now we can start adding in a little bit of dynamic pressure. So I'm gonna try to tag Nick in the head here, and I can move his legs out of the way here like this. At once he pushes me away and I give him some space, then we come back. We can give the attacker a goal as well, where now instead of just trying to just move around them, I have a specific goal. Let's say it's to get my knee on his stomach, here like this, and try to pin him to the floor. So that's my goal. And now Nick's goal is to keep his legs in front the entire time and then push me away with his legs. And once he sees space, open up, try and stand up. Boom, there we go. At more advanced levels, we can start to add in sweeps. I'm circling, right? And I'm trying to add pressure and get my knee on his chest. Now his job is to make me either hit my butt or to stand up. And if he recognizes space, then he stands up. We can make this drill more challenging, right? So he goes down to the floor, and I start with one leg here and attached to his upper body in some way. Now his job is now to push me away and start now framing off, trying to get his legs up and in between, pushing away, and then trying to get back to a standing position. Another version of this drill. So we can then progress this even further. Let's say that instead of me just being framed out on his leg, because he still has an element of control here, because I'm not completely like side to side with him now. He still has this leg in. So he's able to kind of keep me at bay, but he needs to get that other leg in to really complete this and create the space necessary to kick me in the face and really stand up, be out of this problem. Now, once we're here, we can advance this problem by now I need to get past him. So instead of just holding him there and trying to keep him from doing anything, now I have to actively move his knee out of the way and get chest to chest with him. Or chest to back. So if he turns his back toward me, then I come in and get chest to back with him. So these are some ways to really spice up this drill, and you can see that we can go through a lot of levels here. I can add in striking. He has to do the same thing. So get his leg in between. I'm throwing punches, kick me away. Or I can start with strangulation. Off the side here, I'm compressing him. He's moving, has to get in there, kick away, and then stand up. You could spend probably a whole week's worth of classes or training at home just practicing these stand-up drills with these different progressions and then some different iterations. You won't see this at like a lot of more grappling-based gyms. You'll see this in like MMA-style gyms. Standing up is definitely a skill. It's not something that you just do, right? You've all heard the joke, yeah, just stand up, man. It's something that actually needs to be trained on a consistent basis to get the motor skill. And notice we're doing it with pressure the entire time. It's not just we practice standing up over and over and over again. Practicing with a partner who's actually trying to move toward us and maybe deal some damage. So, awesome work and keep training.